Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly class on the Navigating Parenting platform. Thank you so much for joining us, for taking time, for making effort, for bringing your energy to this platform. Today, we are going to talk about a really important topic, and a topic that means a lot to me. There's a saying that I like to say. It's not a saying, I created this little phrase. I like to say that parents are people too. Parents are people too. A lot of times when we come to learn about parenting, we come to a conscious parenting coach, or maybe, you decided that you wanted to start taking these classes. Many of us, our focus is how can we be better parents for our children? Right? I want to learn how to speak so my children listen. I want to learn how to, build them into human beings that are independent and strong and responsible. I want to help support them to become the best version of themselves. And we get really wrapped up in, knowing what the right thing is to do, the right words to say, to support our children. A huge, enormous part, the foundation of conscious parenting is really built on how can we support parents? How can we support parents to go to sleep at night feeling like they did the best possible job they could that day? Because many of us have, whether we go to sleep at night thinking about it, or we go through our day with feeling guilty, like we did things wrong, or even ashamed of the parent that we believe ourselves to be. We don't feel fulfilled. We don't feel empowered. We don't feel connected with our children. And that's a really hard way to go through and live through parenting. And so we want to build all of that connection and respect and trust and cooperation with our children, for our children, but we also really want to build it for ourselves, because we are people too, right? We deserve to feel happy and content and inspired as parents every single day, and empowered. That doesn't mean we're not going to have low moments. We all have low moments, right? We all have uncomfortable feelings, but how can we overall feel like, you know what? I got this. I know what I'm doing as a parent. I feel really good and confident in my parenting. One thing that gets talked about a lot when it comes to parenting is self-care, right? This understanding that if we don't take care of ourselves in the best way possible, and if we don't continuously take care of ourselves, then our cup will be empty. We will not have anything to really give to our children, right? Mean mommy, mean daddy comes out, or we have a lot less patience, or we're just like angry and resentful when we're not taking care of ourselves. And so we do read a lot about self-care, right? To do things that nurture us, that feed our souls, that so we feel like we're taking care of ourselves. For some people, that's getting a massage, doing some exercise, a manicure, a pedicure, going to play a sport that we like, reading a book. Those are all really important things, and it is really important to take care of ourselves. But I want to share something with you. When I first gave birth to my first child, I'll never forget that another mom came to me and looked me in the eyes and said, make sure you take care of yourself. And as a first time mom, I was so overwhelmed with just everything that I needed to do. And the idea of, okay, I hear it. I need to take care of myself, but I don't have resources to do that. I don't have extra time. I was working a full-time job at the time. I don't really have, that much extra money to pay someone to be with my child while I go do whatever it is that I want to do for myself. And B, all those things that we need, that we want to do for ourselves, also require more time and money, right? So I felt like more frustrated. And then I felt, kind of like I was low on myself because then I wasn't doing this self-care that I needed to do. And then would that not make me the best mom that I could if I didn't have like that time to take care of myself? So for me, it was discouraging. And I know that a lot of people, a lot of moms and dads that I've spoken to, feel the same way. It's really hard sometimes to take care of ourselves. We know that we should, but like, you're telling me to do it, sure, but like when and how and with what? So I hear that it can be discouraging. And sometimes, we don't have the resources for it. And also, we do those things. We do the self-care, we get the manicure, the pedicure, the massage, we take care of ourselves in a moment. But then what happens like a few hours later when we're back to feeling frustrated and angry and like we need a few more minutes alone? How long does that energy that we get from the self-care last, right? And I think that's something that's really important to note too, because sometimes we do things to take care of ourselves, but the what it creates for us is very fleeting. It's not really lasting. I see on Instagram so many posts of like going to the supermarket isn't self-care. Being able to go to the bathroom by yourself is not self-care. Sitting down to eat dinner by yourself is not self-care. Okay, so what is self-care? Right? And again, it is really important. Why is self-care? Let's first of all understand, why is self-care really important? Self-care is important. Taking care of ourselves is important because if we don't, we can't function in the best way possible, right? Our emotions will be all over the place. Anxiety, depressed, sad, angry, frustrated, resentful, discouraged, because we're not taking care of ourselves. Okay, but then how do we do it and what do we do and why is it really, really so important? And this is like, when I realized all of these things, it kind of blew my mind and changed my whole perception about what self-care was and how I could really learn to take care of myself, to really take care of, first of all, what is myself? It's my soul, right? It's more than taking care of my physical, although that is really important and that can also be self-care, as long as it's actually nourishing me from the inside. If getting a massage or getting an adjustment at a chiropractor or going to an acupuncturist is part of your self-care because it's nourishing who you are, then that's awesome. So what is the number one thing we want to think about when we talk about self-care? We want to set an intention behind self-care, behind any self-care we do. Because when we set an intention behind anything that we do, but especially self-care, we're being conscious about what we're doing. We're awake. Okay, we're not just going through the motions so we don't enjoy it and it doesn't nourish us. We create a space for ourselves to take care of ourselves so that it can actually nurture us. So what does that mean? Actually, I'm going to go to the second point first, and then I'm going to go back to explain it better. The second point, and it builds off of this, is that when we look to do self-care, we want to make sure that what we choose to do is fulfilling a need that is important to us. So conscious parenting teaches that anytime we have a low vibrational feeling, we feel angry, frustrated, sad, depressed, anxious, etc. It's coming from something. Feelings don't come from nowhere. It's coming from something. It's coming from either the fact that we have a need that's not being met, or we have a limiting belief about ourselves. Okay, there's a story that we're telling ourselves that is limiting. Like, I am not good enough. I am not deserving of this self-care. Now that I'm taking time to take care of myself, I'm ignoring my children. This makes me a bad mom. Moms aren't supposed to take time for themselves. There's like a story we're telling ourselves about whatever it is that we're doing right now that's leading to us feeling a low vibrational feeling around the action that we're doing. Now, what are needs? Because needs are really, really important to understand. We all have basic human needs, the need for air, for food, for water, but we also have the need for empathy. We have a need for love. We have a need for meaning in life. We have a need for self-worth is a need. It's a basic human need. It's something that we all need in order to feel those high vibrational feelings, fulfilled, happy, right? We all have a need for inspiration. We have a need for reassurance, a need for peace, a need for understanding, to feel understood, right? A need for belonging, a need for affection, appreciation. Independence is a need. So there are many, many different needs that we have as human beings, okay? And as parents, when our needs aren't being fulfilled, when we're not figuring out how to get our needs met, we are going to feel a low vibrational feeling. For example, okay, I have a need for independence. Okay, I have a need for some time, some independent time alone with nobody hanging on me. If I don't get that need met, I will explode, and I will have a lot less patience with my children. Okay, because I'm going to feel like overwhelmed, and I'm going to feel like I have no personal space and my boundaries are being crossed all over. Okay, it's going to lead me to a lot of different reactions. If I take the time to get the need for independence, my independence met, then that need will be filled up and I will not have those same low vibrational feelings. I won't need to. So for example, for me, independence looks like getting to go for a walk outside by myself. For example, okay? When I'm by myself and I have all my personal space that no one is crossing, then I feel usually really excited. I feel inspired. I feel encouraged. I feel light and I feel free. I feel invigorated. Okay, I have all these really good feelings. The need for independence is being met. That is self-care. For me, for each of us, self-care looks like something different. Now, when I go for that walk, if I go to that walk feeling upset or angry, then it may not fill me up as much as it could. But if I go out for that walk, or if I go out for that walk robotically, but if I go out for that walk filled with the intention of I am getting my need for independence met right now, and I allow myself to be present in the moment, even if I go out upset, by the way, because my kids were hanging all over me or something happened that made, that caused me to feel really bad. What happens is when I go out with the intention of getting my need met, right? That means I'm allowed to feel my feelings. I'm not saying like, you're feeling angry, like let it go. But what happens is when I go out with the intention of getting my need for independence met, and I recognize that this is what I'm doing in this moment. I've set the intention for filling up that need. I allow that need to get filled up. I allow that need to get met. I notice it. I'm aware of it. I'm conscious of what's happening. And as I'm conscious of what's happening, right, that goes into my body and I allow myself to start to feel awesome. So intention behind self-care is so important, because if we don't and we just do it robotically, then we're not being present in that moment to fully enjoy and reap all that we can from taking that time for our self-care. And in order for our self-care to really be self-care for us, we want to make sure that we are using it to consciously meet a need that's not being met. Now, a manicure could absolutely be amazing self-care for someone. How does that self-care, right? Because maybe, you have the need for beauty. Beauty is a need, okay? Beauty is actually a really important need. To feel beautiful is something that, is really important for others. So if my need is to feel beautiful, getting a manicure will fill up that need. And I'm going with the intention of, I'm getting like clean and I'm getting beautified. And and when I have that need met, then I can go back into my day feeling like all put together and awesome and ready to take over, right? And ready to be super excited, because I'm going into that manicure with the intention of filling up my need, because filling up that need brings me all of these awesome feelings, right? It's bringing me the feeling I feel at ease, I feel blissful, I feel calm, okay? It rejuvenates me, right? I'm getting that need for beauty met. So those are just some examples, right? But that's why it's so important, because we could also go to that manicure annoyed, angry, something I just have to do. And then we don't allow the experience to actually be self-care. We don't allow the experience to actually nourish and nurture our soul. When we get our needs met, it's nourishing and nurturing our soul. Now, we mentioned limiting beliefs. If I go into my self-care with this limiting belief of, I'm here, but I don't really know if I deserve this, right? Or I feel super, guilty that I'm here doing this and my kid is at home. And we have a limiting belief system maybe about, moms don't deserve to have themselves taken care of, or a good mom is one that, is always with their child. So noticing those limiting beliefs and what they are, the stories we're telling themselves, and then of course doing the work on them to transform them into life affirming beliefs, which is something that I work on a lot with my coaching clients, is so important, because it then allows us to really, again, take everything that we can from those moments of getting our needs met, of setting the intention for the self-care. Because if the whole time we're taking care of ourselves, we're thinking about how we don't deserve it, or any other limiting belief, then we don't actually allow it to nurture us. Now, one more thing that's really important about self-care that I'd like to mention is that we want to do it before our breaking point. Okay? We want to be on the lookout for, how can I make sure to take care of myself and specifically get my needs met before, right, I'm at a breaking point? How can I make sure to sit down and with intention eat breakfast to, fulfill my need for food, which is a really important need. And when we don't, right, simply some of us get hangry. Some of us, we are totally unfocused because we need to nurture our body in order to function in our highest capacity. But if we only eat once we're absolutely starving, and so we already have all these like low vibrational feelings that are coming out because we didn't get our need met, then yes, it is taking care of ourselves, but we've already got into like a lower place. So we want to be on the lookout for what needs, and get familiar with ourselves and what needs are really important to us, and figure out how we can constantly be getting our needs met, so that we don't get to a place where we have all these needs, right? And none of them are met. And now we're feeling all these low vibrational feelings. Now, we're not always going to get our needs met. It's just life. Okay. But having this awareness, this consciousness around, when I'm feeling these low vibrational feelings, what am I needing? And then taking the time to actually have that, to do those things that we need, is the ultimate self-care. And it's okay sometimes to do it once we're already feeling the low vibe feelings. But how awesome is it to know what we need and make sure to take care of those needs in advance? Now, some of us may say, yeah, but I really for me, I love massages. I really can't afford it. I really can't afford massages very often. Okay, so I would ask you to ask yourself, what about the massage is it that you need? Okay, is it the touch? That's a need. Touch is a need. Is it the affection? Do you feel like a lot of affection when you get a massage because of the touch? Is it the quiet that's really important to you? The peace? And so if a massage is not within your budget to get on a weekly basis or as often as you want, what else can you do to get those needs met? What else can you do for the touch, for that peace? And we can get creative, what can replace a massage? Asking your partner to massage you for just like a couple minutes, right? And if he's doing it or she's doing it with intention, and you're saying, oh yes, this touch, or cuddling with your child, that's touch. Maybe that's enough to help, nurture you in some way, right? But think like, if I can't get that massage right now, okay, so how can I get the needs met that the massage covers? And by doing that proactively, which means not waiting until we're really upset and then figuring out what needs aren't being met and why am I feeling this way and what can I do to restore it, right? To always be on the lookout for the needs that we have and how we can get them met on a daily basis, even if it's doing little things. Like we can't get a massage every day, or we are not going to get a manicure every day, but what are the little things we can do constantly to make sure our needs are being met? And this is self-care. And so going to the supermarket on your own may not be the ultimate way that you want to spend your time. But at the same time, if you go and going to the supermarket, fills the need for movement, feels the need for peace, even peace of mind, because now you know your refrigerator is going to be stocked and you're not going to be like frantically searching for what to cook, and you know that you're taking care of your family. Maybe it's giving you fulfilling a need of accomplishment, then that can be self-care. Not if we're going from resentment and it's like something I hate to do, but if we can turn it into, how am I getting my needs met right now? It's all about our intention. It's all about where we put our consciousness. Then going to the supermarket can be an act of self-care. I'm not saying that that's in place of doing something that you really love to do, taking the time to meditate or journal or go to an exercise class, but there are ways to get our needs met. When we reframe it this way, then we can get our needs met and find self-care in mundane moments throughout the day. It's such an important concept. Parents are people too. It is so important to take care of ourselves, to always be noticing our feelings and understanding where they're coming from, right? What needs aren't being met? What belief do I have? And learning and taking the time and work to take care of them. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that this class helped you. I know how much it's helped me truly and deeply to have this understanding. I welcome knowing, what you'd like me to give classes on. So please message me and let me know what topics you're interested in. Thank you so much for joining and have a wonderful day.